listening to, I say you are listening to, you are absolutely listening to the George Espenlaub Show, coming to you live from the Funny Farm. Now, with no further ado, here comes Georgie!
Thank you. Oh, you're a wound-up bunch. You're a wound-up bunch on a Wednesday afternoon. I do want to say this, being that it's 9/11. Let's take time not to forget. Let's take time. Just take a little bit of time to get by yourself and pray for the victims of that terrible, tragic day on 9/11. Also, we have an all-the-time listener from out in South Dakota, and I don't know how many of you know, but they were hit with a pretty bad, she just texted me not too long ago, they were hit with a pretty bad tornado last night that tore up some stuff and left a real path of devastation. So let's remember them in our prayers. In fact, Paula just came into the chat room. So remember the people out in South Dakota, and especially today being 9/11. Take time to stop what you're doing and just think about it. We have on the show this afternoon, and I'll get into our sponsors here in a little bit, but on the show this afternoon, we have a man, and it's fitting. What is better than a Wednesday afternoon with some good old bluegrass music? I mean, here, now, I know I'm a little weird, but picture this. You're laying back under a tree, you're sitting on a swing, you're sitting in the grass, whatever, and you're listening to bluegrass music. Oh my, I don't think there's anything better in an afternoon than doing that. And we have with us this afternoon a man, and we're going to feature the band's music, a man by the name of Scott Slay. Scott Slay and the Rail. You're going to love it. And so now, with no further ado, here comes Scott. Scott, welcome to the George Espenlaub Show.
It's good to be here.
Wow. Bluegrass in the afternoon. It doesn't get any better than that. Wow. Tell us a little bit about yourself, Scott.
So I'm from Pensacola, Florida. I grew up there playing bluegrass with my dad. He always had a band, even I was a part of starting at age 8. He actually started teaching me to play mandolin when I was 6 after going to the Newgrass Revival concert where I saw Sam Bush. And I, kind of just grew up playing in bluegrass bands with my dad, Tracy Slay. He always played banjo or dobro most of the time. And I normally played mandolin. And then when I got in high school, we joined another band. I was playing guitar called the Dog River Boys. And we kind of played a lot up and down the southeast coast at bluegrass festivals and whatnot. But then many years later and several states later, I'm over here in Denver, Colorado now, and I've got that band you were mentioning, Scott Slay and the Rail, and we're playing a lot out here, and then we're also going to be at the International Bluegrass Music Awards in a couple weeks over in Raleigh, North Carolina.
You're and I put it up on the show page this morning. You're pretty high up there on the charts in the bluegrass realm, aren't you?
I'm working on it for sure. It's kind of goes back and forth, I guess. I've had a couple of different songs move up the charts. Primarily a single that I've released back in back in January of this year of 2019. It was a song I recorded with Sierra Hull playing mandolin and singing with me, and a bunch of other good players. It was called "Truth Came Out," and that made it up on the charts several times. And then I released a full album on March 7th, 2019. The album is actually called "The Rail," and that title track, I actually wrote a song called "The Rail." That one's been on the charts many times. And there's so many different kinds of charts too. You got the Americana, the Bluegrass, you have the International, the National. There's also apparently one of the songs on my record called "Green Valley" keeps getting pretty high up on the charts on the Bluegrass radio charts in Australia, which is kind of an interesting thing. I like to follow all that stuff just to kind of figure out what it is that people like in different areas, and kind of helps my booking agent plan tours and whatnot.
It is amazing, isn't it? There's not a better way to start this party off this afternoon than just playing that song you just mentioned. Ladies and gentlemen, Scott Slay and the Rail, "Truth Came Out."
I stretched the truth enough times for anyone. Gazing up at me, I think you knew it all along. Walking down the slopes in a shady old grove. Too many times you've seen me leave my love in the throes. But when the truth came out, it was overdue. The stars cleared the dark and the lies left the room. What I came to find, there ain't nothing left to see. You walked out, never knowing what we could be. In the far northern skies, I pointed out the lights. What you really didn't see was my last attempt to try. I never understood why you needed so much. Gave you all my love, but I was never enough. 'Cause when the truth came out, it was overdue. The stars cleared the dark and the lies left the room. What I came to find, there ain't nothing left to see. You walked out, never knowing what we could be. In a crazy kind of world, I look for an easy kind of us. There's just too much to get stuck with, and little details aren't enough. You never saw me for me, got wrapped up in the big show. And what you should have seen are the little things aglow. 'Cause when the truth came out, it was overdue. The stars cleared the dark and lies left the room. What I came to find, there ain't nothing left to see. 'Cause you walked out, and it was you that walked out. Yeah, you walked out. So you never got to see what I could have been to you. Trying times were all we had, and it was us that you really blew.
Truth Came Out. You're listening to the George Espenlaub Show, coming to you live from the Funny Farm in a place called Our World. And we are delighted to have with us this afternoon Scott Slay, and we're featuring the music of Scott Slay and the Rail. Now, for us here on the Funny Farm and all the clients. This is cool for us because we can just sit back and listen to bluegrass music, and I can't explain what's going on around here, but you can kind of picture it in your mind. Scott, we want people to go to your website, and correct me if I'm wrong, but it's denverbluegrass.com. Is that correct?
That's it.
And there they can see the videos and read all about it, like the newspaper man says. They can bounce from there to the other one, back and forth. It's a really cool website. And they can go to airplaydirect.com/music/Scott Slay. That's another place they can go. Plus, they can get your music at iTunes and Spotify, right?
That's it. It's pretty much on any of those audio streaming platforms that you have to pay for. It's on all of those.
Right. I've got this crazy question. Maybe it's not so crazy, but I like to get behind the music scene sometimes and find out the history. Tell me a little bit of the history behind bluegrass music.
Okay. Well, in the, it goes farther than this, but in the late 1940s, early 1950s, Mr. Bill Monroe, who was born and raised in Kentucky, the bluegrass state, he had grown up in a musical family. He was the youngest of all the siblings. And it was kind of extra information, but he was born cross-eyed. Kind of was sort of left out of a lot of things. Wasn't able to learn how to read music. He went to all the shape note singing stuff at church. However, he couldn't read it, so he was just kind of listening to everyone around him and just trying to sing along. And he kind of created his own style of singing harmony, hence that high, lonesome sound that bluegrass has. Most of the people in the family, brothers and sisters, his brother was Charlie Monroe, was playing guitar. Everyone else was playing the fiddle, the violin. I believe his uncle, he refers to his Uncle Penn, played the fiddle, and also his mother played kind of like Irish Scottish fiddling, and he was also exposed to blues guitar music in the area, and ended up at some point taking up the mandolin. That was kind of the last instrument the family owned that no one was playing, and was figured out how to play a lot of this music on his instrument his way. And then I believe in those late 1940s, him and his brother Charlie started a guitar and mandolin duo, just singing like old time music and old country songs. But then they kind of had a falling out, and he started a full string band with banjo and mandolin, guitar, and fiddle and bass, and decided he wanted to call it the Bluegrass Boys because he was from the Bluegrass state. So they became known as Bill Monroe and the Bluegrass Boys. And then, after that, just many different bands started kind of copying that sound. The Stanley Brothers, Lester Flatt and Earl Scruggs joined Bill Monroe's band for a while, and then they separated and kind of made their own version of bluegrass. And eventually you get into the 60s and the 70s, and you've got, Ricky Skaggs and Tony Rice and all of these guys who are, playing bluegrass. And that music ends up getting pushed into mainstream country with Ricky Skaggs and Marty Stewart and Vince Gill. And, and then today you've got elements of it in folk rock music with like the Lumineers and Mumford & Sons and all that kind of music that's going on now. But it all really got its start with that band Bill Monroe, who decided to do things his own way, sing his own way, and play the mandolin his own way, and put together an instrumentation of a band that had never been put together like that before.
I like people that does it their own way. I get a kick out of hearing people doing it and seeing people doing it. How many people do you have in your band?
Right now I have it's a 5-piece band, and most of the time that's how we're playing. I mean, every once in a while, I've had this band, or like this material, in different states, in different places, but with different musicians other than who I have right now.
Uh-huh.
So I actually I had a version of Scott Slaying the Rail in Pensacola, Florida, where I'm from, and when I go back there and play, if my current band can't travel, then I use those folks, and it's down there. It's normally guitar, mandolin, banjo, and bass. But then I also have a version of this band. I lived in Washington D.C. for about 3.5 years, and I've got a version of this band out there that's pretty much the same thing, but I have another guy that will play a second guitar with me, and he sings harmony with me by the name of Corey Chubb. He actually sang on a lot of the stuff on the record. And then I've got my band here in Denver that I play with most of the time, and it's guitar, bass, fiddle, and mandolin. But every once in a while, my buddy Corey, he'll come out here to a festival and he'll play with us. So when that happens, we're a 6-piece band.
Wow. Ladies and gentlemen, We're going to play the rail. Scott Slay and the rail.
Take a train across the country till we can't go no more. Travel around the countryside with our hearts on tour. Stake our claim as Virginia's lovers. With your hand in mine, the land our love covers. We stake our claim to the love on the vine. Make our love with your hand in mine. Things are gonna happen, and they're gonna happen fast. Sitting still is a thing of the past. Making love, and this love is gonna last. So put your hand in mine. My sweet green-eyed darling, give you no reason to cry. My sweet green-eyed darling, I never had blue in her eyes. Though our family's hate runs thicker than blood, there's nothing that runs as thick as our love. The love that we take from the grapes made for wine. The love that we've made with your hand in mine. Things are gonna happen, and they're gonna happen fast. Sitting still is a thing of the past. We're making love, this love is gonna last. So put your hand in mine. Where we're going, there's no way of knowing, so let's just ride the rail. Gotta get going, 'cause nobody stops the mail. So let's just ride the rail. Put your hand in mine, let our love guard the rail. Through the night and the fog, let our story be a tale about two star-crossed lovers who rode out of hell, but holding hands and just riding the rail. Things are gonna happen, and they're gonna happen fast. Sitting still is a thing of the past. We're making love, this love is gonna last. So put your hand in mine.
You just gotta love it. You gotta love it. I love it, Scott. I really do. I'm just sitting here bebopping around and just that's and I've told other people that's what I call sweet music. I mean, just sweet music. Let it get down in the fiber of your being. Wow. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, we took the chat room out of the inside here at the Funny Farm and we moved it to the outside, where people can sit on the picnic tables, crawl under the picnic tables. It just depends what shape you're in, you know what I'm saying? Lean under a tree, whatever. And we've got virtual beverages and we got sandwiches. So y'all come on in. There's some people, well, you know, they're not in the chat room no more. They're outside in the big chat room. Chat room in the air. That's of the air, whatever it's called. But that's what it is. But we have with us today Scott Slay and the Rail. Wow, it's Bluegrass afternoon at the farm, and I'm just loving it. I'm loving it to death. Scott, what are the best instruments, and you mentioned several, but what are the best instruments that make up, like you guys, a good bluegrass sound?
Well, I'd say the ones that are probably most recognizable as bluegrass music would be banjo and mandolin. Just because I think between Bill Monroe and Earl Scruggs and all the people who have emulated them and taken it a little bit further, you know, all the way up to Sam Bush and Bela Fleck and the Punch Brothers, Chris Thile and Noam, all that kind of thing. People just, when you hear banjo and mandolin, you just think bluegrass. That's just what comes to mind, you know. Mm-hmm. I'm partial to the mandolin because that was my first instrument. Started playing when I was 6 years old. You know, I think I mentioned earlier I was inspired by Mr. Sam Bush and Newgrass Revival. But you know, in order to have like a good full sound, you know, we said what's the best ones. I feel like you really need to have at least those four. The guitar, it really kind of fills in the warmth of the rhythm of the whole thing, and then the mandolin is super important because it even just rhythmically, it's like the snare drum, even though there's no drummer normally in bluegrass, and then the bass is kind of the bass drum. So between the mandolin and the bass, you get that boom, boom, and if you don't have those two, it's not something you can really like tap your toe to. But then the banjo really gives it that energy. For any of those musicians out there, the banjo is providing all the 16th notes. It kind of just drives it and kind of pushes it forward. When I teach in class, you know, we talk about 16th notes. It's going like 1 EN, a 2 EN, a 3 EN, a 4 EN, and that's that banjo going digga 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 kind of sound. You put those four together, and you've got the rhythm of the bluegrass band. However, I also really like to have these days. When I can, I like to have a fiddler in the band because it just kind of adds, you know, just some long sounds and some prettier sounds to kind of compensate for all that hard driving the banjo's doing.
We had when I was growing up, we had a man in our church. We had like an orchestra, and we had a man, an older man at the time, and he played the banjo. Is that a hard instrument to pick up and play?
You know, for me it probably is because I play a little bit of banjo. My dad was a banjo player, so I couldn't help but pick it up every once in a while growing up. But I never really like sat down to really, really learn how to play it. You'll never see me play it in public. The only time you're going to see me play a banjo is if I'm at my dad's house and, you know, Christmas or Thanksgiving or something, and I'm just kind of sitting around looking for something to do. You know, I feel like that's a hard question because, you know, a lot of times people ask me, do you think it's hard to play, you know, mandolin? Uh-huh. Or like what's harder, mandolin or guitar? And, you know, I think because I started with mandolin, you know, like that one, I would say that's easier. But I guarantee you, if I had started first with guitar, I'd probably say guitar was easier. So I think it really is, you know, how young you start what your first instrument is. The banjo is all about the right hand playing with the thumb, index finger, and middle finger with kind of like a rolling action, and you're having to sort of constantly do that. So I don't even know if that answers your question or not, but to be honest, I don't really know. If I really played it, I probably could answer that a little better for you.
I'm sitting here going, like I like I understand what you're talking about with the thumb and the finger and all that stuff. And then I'm thinking, Espenlaub, you can't walk and chew bubble gum at the same time, and you're saying to the man talking about playing a banjo. But I guess it's all I guess it's the person. Like you said, if you'd have picked up the the guitar first, and the mandolin would have probably been harder, and vice versa. So, but I was always amazed with watching people play banjos. Ladies and gentlemen, go to Denver Bluegrass, denverbluegrass.com, and there you can go to Scott's website and read all about it. And iTunes, Spotify, and airplaydirect.com/music/Scott Slay. And we'll put all this stuff back up on the show page again so you can get it. Ladies and gentlemen, the Devil's Backbone. I just like the name.
Moonshine misty, gin, joe, and whiskey, time falling gently for eternal sleep. May I rest in pieces of my past, let my thoughts linger long and forever last. If you just cut me off from the heap, I'll sink down where I belong, to the bottom of the deep. Hawkins, they're gonna build a railroad right through here. A little black train is coming and the time is drawing near. The bone in their backs is as strong and steady as molasses. The lies that they tell corrupt the heads of the lads and the lasses. With moonshine misty, gin, joe, and whiskey, time falling gently for eternal sleep. May I rest in pieces of my past, let my thoughts linger long and forever last. If you just cut me off from the heap, I'll sink down where I belong, to the bottom of the deep. Elderberry, there's nothing sweeter. There's nothing worse than a deserter, and yet would he devote that sacred hand for such a worm as I? Elderberry, there's nothing sweeter, and it's one of the few things tasting before I die. I lay here with one thought and one eye open. One eye open to the most beautiful sight in West Virginia. Preacher said I'd see a chariot with wings coming for to take me home. But I see the most beautiful angel that ever graced West Virginia. And I'm sinking down into that lake of fire, that lake of fire, a lake of fire far from my home. In this moonshine misty, gin, joe, and whiskey, time falling gently for eternal sleep. May I rest in pieces of my past, let my thoughts linger long and forever last. If you just cut me off from the heap, I'll sink down where I belong, to the bottom of the deep. nothing, he ain't nothing with no land. He gave up the tender rights and now he ain't even a man. Trusted in the Lord to do good, so he would give me the desires of my heart. And now I suffer the misfortune of affliction to end at the very start. As I lay here cold and still, I'm reminded that I'm the instrument of my own will to face my fear. Like, what am I doing here? I'm here to protect the rights of my family, and I lay here for my right to die peacefully. To live or die against this army of chance. To choose and survive must be the devil ants. The thirst for justice will continue for you and me, as will the bloodshed flow on for eternity. With this moonshine misty, gin joined whiskey, time falling gently for eternal sleep. May I rest in pieces of my past. Let my thoughts linger long and forever last. If you just cut me off from the heap, I'll sink down where I belong, to the bottom of the deep. Stuck with no way up, but only down. In the bloody purgatory we found ourselves left alone, to make our own way up, devil's backbone.
Oh, man, is that cool or what? That was so good. I like that. I like that, Scott. Wow. Well, ladies and gentlemen, friends, Romans, and countrymen, lend me both of your ears, because we want you to know that Scott Slay and the Rail, Scott is with us. He's in the guest chair, and we are featuring Scott Slay and the Rail, their music. Wow. And it is fun. Scott, we was talking off the air, and I know you're going to have to scoot here pretty soon. You're going to go give music lessons. Is that right?
That's right.
I truly think you're to be commended. What do you do? Teach about 20 of them in a classroom at the same time?
Yeah, sometimes 25, but yeah, around approximately 20 for about 45 minutes, 4 or 5 times a day.
Wow. And is it one particular instrument, or is it several different instruments?
Right now, I'm just teaching class ukulele. Give us a few months, and some of the students will probably be moving to guitar, and might even move probably one student in each class to. We have an electric bass here. I do this program. It's known in the music educator world as like modern band, and then just playing really a lot of modern American music and world music with a lot of the instruments that you hear on the radio.
Wow, that's fantastic, and I'm happy to hear that you're out there passing it on. My goodness gracious, I wish I'd have done that when I was a young fellow, but I was too. Well, I don't want to say what I was, but I wasn't what I was supposed to be. I'll let it go at that. But wow, that's fantastic. Do you have any upcoming shows?
Yeah, actually, here in just a couple of weeks, it's we're playing in Raleigh, North Carolina, at IBMA, it's International Bluegrass Music Awards. They also call it World of Bluegrass. But we're going to be playing there on Wednesday, the 25th. We're also playing there on Friday, a couple of different shows at different stages. And then my bass player, Evan, and I, we're also, the two of us, we're actually going to be supporting and playing with a different band under a different name by the name of Christy Stanley on that Thursday. I know you didn't really ask for this piece of information, but it's kind of cool because Christy is married to Ralph Stanley's son, and Ralph Stanley is one of those people I was mentioning earlier that's, you know, part of pioneering bluegrass that we know exists today, and we're going to be playing a show with his daughter-in-law.
That is cool. Hey, do you ever get up my way in Delaware?
We haven't yet, but I'm sure it's going to happen.
You know, Raleigh, North Carolina. if you just creep up a little bit, you know what I'm saying, or you creep up a little bit, and I'll creep down, and we'll meet somewhere in Virginia. How'd be that? That'd be all right, right?
Yeah, that'd be good. You let us know where to play and who wants us, and we'll be there.
All righty, all righty. We'll have to work on that because man, that'd be a lot of fun. Wow.
Yeah.
You know, when you said you was gonna when you were saying about you was gonna play in this other band, and sometimes when you go to Florida, you got this band and you know all that good stuff, and I was thinking, man, that's like interchangeable parts. Where for instance, if you're running a car from one place to the other place, you've got these little places that you can stop off and fix it up, you know, or put it back together again.
Exactly.
I think that's pretty cool. That's,
you know,
that's smart.
Bluegrass, like especially traditional bluegrass, it's a lot like jazz, meaning that the musicians, a lot of us, we know the same songs, or at least we know kind of like the same vocabulary. And then, so you can play shows with people you've never played before. You can sit down and just have a jam, and you know a lot of the same songs. You might play them a little bit differently, but also bluegrass is the kind of music that has been passed down by ear. You know, people typically learn it first, you know, by ear, not through reading music. And so because of that, you know, like the Christy Stanley, just to be honest, I've never met her before, but she sent me her music a couple months back, and I sat down and listened to it, and you know, learned how to play all her songs, and so did my bass player, and we'll show up and play with her, and that's really it. You just have to you use good musicians who you can trust that will be ready and prepared to, you know, execute what needs to be done. And, you know, because it's different people, it's always going to sound a little bit different. You know, everyone's going to have a little slightly different take on, you know, how they play the instrument or the song, and it actually kind of makes it interesting, a little more fun.
Wow, I think that's so neat. There's a lady that's outside in our outside chat room now, and she said, you have to come to South Dakota. Have you been up that way?
I have not. So full disclosure, I just moved out here to Colorado about 2 years ago. Before that, I was doing most of my playing up and down that kind of northeast coast, and I hadn't made it to Delaware yet, but I'd been over there, Maryland and Pennsylvania, even like New York, you know, and Virginia, and all that stuff. But I'm kind of just now, getting everything lined up to play more out here. I've done some stuff in California since I've moved out here. But if anyone's interested in booking us for a festival or, like a big theater event or something, they can contact Melanie Pickens, and she's with Wilson Pickens Promotions. I believe there's a link on my website to that. But that's who does all the booking and everything. And we'd love to come out there in South Dakota.
on Denver, excuse me, denverbluegrass.com, you can go on there, and there's a place that like Scott just said, you can get them booked, find out all the information, and that's how things get done. I mean, just people say this and go there and do that, and before you know, something come together, and boom, there it is. Wow. Scott,
Yeah.
man, I hate to see you go, buddy, because I'm having so much fun. But I don't want you to miss your appointment or none of them things. 'Cause I know them kids would be disappointed. But listen, will you promise me that you'll come back again?
Oh yeah, for sure. I'm working on some new material. I'm not sure exactly when it's going to be released, but you can probably look for it sometime in 2020, and we'll have to talk again about that.
All righty. I love it. And listen, although we're going to let you go, we're going to keep playing the music. Would that be all right?
That sounds great. Thank you.
All right, buddy. Listen, you got my phone number, so you call me anytime. I mean that. You call me anytime. If you post something up on Facebook or whatever, I'll catch it, and I'll throw it over on our show page and all that good stuff. So we'll keep the loop going, and we'll keep pushing you out there, and my, good things will probably happen. You're a fantastic artist, and you're a real gentleman, and I thank you for it, Scott. I really do.
Thank you so much for the kind words, George.
All righty, old buddy. Knock them, well, I was going to say knock them kids out, but I don't mean it literally. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Just,
I got you.
yeah, okay.
I know what you're saying.
All right, buddy. You have a good day and be safe.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Will do. You too. Bye.
Wow, so much fun. Let's listen to Green Valley.
In the cold city streets, neath the faded moonlight, he boarded a train for a long, lonesome ride. Staring out the windows while rivers filled his head, he fell into a dream that made him sad. Them sparkling city lights drew dark shadows in his mind, all alone with his memory and a slow creeping time. Over in the distance, bright lightning crossed the sky, long past the time to say goodbye. Goodbye, Green Valley. Goodbye, deep blue sky. I'll meet you in the morning when tears fill my eyes. Bye, Green Valley, goodbye. In the high mountain air, he stared quiet to the land as he pulled back the brambles with his soft city hand. He could hear Mama's music from the dark, empty room, fiddling on a Sunday afternoon. He listened for a while through the willows and the pines, all alone with his memory and a slow creeping time. Over in the distance, bright lightning crossed the sky. Knew it was time to say goodbye. Goodbye, Green Valley. Goodbye, deep blue sky. I'll meet you in the morning when tears fill my eyes. Bye, Green Valley, goodbye. the old sugar maple was a little name inscribed, and it was in the place he dreamed the dreams of a child. But the dream was all over, the stars no longer shine, long past the time to say goodbye. Goodbye, Green Valley. Goodbye, deep blue sky. I'll meet you in the morning when tears fill my eyes. Bye, Green Valley, goodbye. Yes, I'll meet you in the morning when tears flood my eyes. Bye, Green Valley, goodbye.
Oi, 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 oi.
Oh man, that dude shows up. That dude shows up all the time. I don't know why he don't go to the Funny Farm Clinic there and get something for that mess he's carrying around. My goodness gracious. Ladies and gentlemen, we had Scott Slay with us, and he had an appointment, and a very important appointment at that. But we chatted with him, and we're featuring the music of Scott Slay and the Rail. This is Bluegrass Afternoon at the farm. And man, I'm just eating it up. I'm enjoying it, and I hope you are too. Now remember, excuse me, remember, if you know of someone that didn't catch the show live this afternoon, you can always go back and listen to it again. Not only that, but you can download it, and you can do with it whatever you want. It doesn't cost you a nickel. So every show is available, and we go live with all of our shows. Most of the time we go at 8 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, but we work with our guests, and if they're ready to go, I'm ready to go. You want to go in the morning, we'll go in the morning. You want to go in the afternoon, we'll go in the afternoon. Want to go at night, we'll go at night. If you want to go in the middle of the night, we'll go in the middle of the night. That's what it's all about. And we just get that warm, fuzzy feeling when people come on and be with us. And speaking of people coming on, tomorrow afternoon, we're going to have another show. Tomorrow afternoon, because it's Ladies' Day here at the farm. Each and every week, we bring a lady that's in business. No matter what it is, we bring a lady in, put her in the guest chair, and she talks to us about running a business, amongst all the other things those ladies do out there. I mean, you talk about multitasking. Tomorrow afternoon, 3 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, Tracy Chairhart will be with us. Oh, my goodness. I was reading her bio the other day, and I just looked at my wife, and I said, how does people do so much? I mean, wow. But anyhow, you're going to enjoy her. And all these folks that's coming out of Denver and the Denver area, it's all because of Tracy Chairhart. She deserves all the credit for what's going on here with all the guests that's coming out of the Denver area. And we've got more lined up. They're coming. Friday night, we'll have Jeffrey Dahlett with us. He's out of the Denver area, a musician. So we got them lined up. We've got some other people. We are in the process of booking a very, what's the word? A young lady out of Warren, Pennsylvania. I mean, who will just warm your heart. She's not a musician. She's a business owner. She'll just warm your heart. And I would imagine when we get her on, when we book her, when she comes on, I imagine that there'll be a few tears that fall. But we've got them coming from far and wide, from every walk of life. We want them to come on. We want to promote them. We want to lift them up, push them out. That's what it's all about. Moonshine Feel.
Told that girl I'm gonna make her mine. Buy her a ring and a white dress so fine. We'll get hitched in the church her folks go to all the time. She said, boy, we're still two kids. You can't quit thinking about that one time. You've got no money and there's no grapes on the vine. I wanna go back to where time don't stand and we're sitting still on the back deck overlooking that big blue hill. Back where time don't stand and you're sitting still. You got hand in hand by that moonshine still, with that moonshine feel. Oh, that moonshine feel. I had Floyd County's finest shine, and I said I'm gonna make her mine. With the pedal to the metal in the backwoods, no grapes on the vine. She said farm don't make no money growing corn, and you'll take death in a jar. But there's a man down at the county line, he says he can sell it in a secret city bar. Take a walk down Old Crooked Road, share a memory just for two. Let's take a walk down Old Crooked Road, where there's a memory made for me and you. Back where time don't stand and we're sitting still on the back deck overlooking that big blue hill. Back where time don't stand and you're sitting still. You got hand in hand by that moonshine still, with that moonshine feel. Oh, that moonshine feel. What's that moonshine feel?
My, oh, my, oh, my, oh, my. I thought for sure Maxine was going to call in here today. I don't know where she's at. She's out and about. Maybe she got busy and forgot all about it. But nonetheless, I thought she'd call in. Speaking of Maxine, that's the wrong note you got there, Espenlaub. Pick up the right one. Okay. Speaking of Maxine, have you ever been to a ring bomb party? Well, if you haven't, here's what you do. Go to Facebook and type up there in that little search box thingy, Unicorn Chasin'. That's Unicorn Chasin', Chasin', Unicorn Chasin' with Maxine and Walter. Unicorn Chasin' with Maxine and Walter. They go live on Facebook 2-3 times, maybe sometimes more, I don't know. They go live at different times of the day, different days, so on and so forth. But Unicorn Chasin' with Maxine and Walter and you can experience for yourself what a ring bomb party is all about. I know they'll be delighted to have you, and I'm sure that when you get there, you'll be glad you come because, listen, there's a whole lot of people that come and watch Maxine and Walter, and I mean, you put Maxine and Walter together with that bunch that's watching, the good Lord only knows what might happen, and I'm not even so sure he knows what's going to happen. But they have a lot of fun, and a lot of good things take place. So go to Unicorn Chasing with Maxine and Walter, and maybe she'll call in here before we fly out of here this afternoon. But nonetheless, that's what it's all about. Unicorn Chasing with Maxine and Walter.
Skylights the world all around you. A flicker ribbon that catches the eyes of two. Someone's talking about the new old crew. Girls with the pearls move right there next to you. She ordered a drink, her hair was red. Next thing you know, I've got her running through my head. Running through your head, running through my head. That's how it started with her running through my head. Run, 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 run away. 'Cause only one of us can stay. You better run, 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 run away. Only one of us can stay. Follow the city lights. Stood and watched as she reached for a cigarette, as if to be seen and asking to be lit. Put down the phone and give her a light, thinking that she may and hoping that she might. Order her a drink, her hair is brown. That's how she got my thoughts running all around. Running uptown, running down, down, down. That's how we got our thoughts running all around. Run, 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 run away. One of us can stay. You better run, 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 run away. Only one of us can stay. So follow the city lights. You better run, 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 run away. 'Cause only one of us can stay. You better run, 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 run away. Only one of us can stay. Follow the city lights.
Chocolate with Bosco is mighty good for me. Mama puts it in my milk for extra energy. Bosco gives me iron and sunshine vitamin D. Oh, I love Bosco. That's the drink for me.
I'll tell you what, it has been a grand afternoon, and I was sitting here thinking, my goodness gracious, how time flies. I want to say thank you so very, very much to Scott Slay for being on the show this afternoon, taking time out of a very, very busy schedule. If you listen to him talk, you know that that is a busy, busy man, and he's making music, music, music. I love it. I was sitting here trying to figure out, oh, wait a minute. I've got all these songs that he sent to me, and where can I fit them in? Well, I've got a plan, because you're going to be hearing more of them. So just, I got a plan. Trust me, Espenlaub's got a plan. He does. And this plan is really, really going to work. Wow. I see our time is just about gone. My goodness gracious. I was trying to give Maxine enough time to call, but who knows? Who knows? He's either at the post office or at one of them little dollar stores, or, well, good Lord only knows where she's at. But nonetheless, I thought she'd call in. Hey, listen. Thanks for everybody that tunes in. Thanks for those that are going to be tuning in. The momentum is just going. Listen, you can hear the George Espenlaub Show on iHeartRadio, Spotify. It's up on YouTube, SoundCloud, Tumblr, Twitter. We're on the VIP network that goes across the nation. We're heard in everywhere. We're heard around the world. Listeners in France. We have about 18% of our listeners come out of Paris, France. Germany, Italy, the UK, so on and so forth. But listen, whether you're down the street or around the corner, somewhere across America or around this great big world, I want to thank you for tuning in this afternoon. And I want to thank all the people that are going to be tuning in later, because they can go back and listen to it anytime, download it for themselves, and it don't cost you a nickel. So, until tomorrow afternoon, 3 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, and we're going to have Tracy Cherhart with us. It'll be a grand time, I'll guarantee it. You will really enjoy it. So tell your friends, neighbors, and all those people. Until then, if it's nighttime where you're at, and it is nighttime somewhere, you have a good night. If it's still daytime, or it just became daytime, I hope you have a fine day and the rest of the day and all those things that the day goes with. You know what I'm saying? But until tomorrow afternoon, my goodness gracious, until tomorrow afternoon, 3 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, right here on Spreaker.com, you can back and be with us. Until then, this is George Espenlaub saying, along with all the gang, Charlie, Gertrude Duplicki, Miss Ernestine, Harvey, the whole gang here at the Funny Farm, you stay safe, and I trust God will keep you right in the center of His hand. So until then, I'll see y'all later. Good afternoon, everybody.